Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Culture Mavens. I'm Rabbi Susan Nanus with my dear friend Tom Teicholz. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Susan.
Guys, so we have a lot of interesting things to recommend, including some Passover information at the end. But I want to start with a film, Tom, that we mentioned, but we hadn't watched, that I watched. News of the World with Tom Hanks and this amazing young German actress, Helena Zengel. It's about Tom Hanks is a former soldier from the Civil War, and he used to be a publisher, and apparently his publishing house burned down during the Civil War. So now he goes around the West reading the news to people because they can't read. And you see him traveling around to different communities. And then he discovers this young German girl from a German pioneer family. Her pioneer family was killed, and it's about their relationship as well. It's very powerful. Was it nominated for anything?
It was not, and that's one of the slights or omissions, depending on who you read, but it did not get the attention that many people feel it deserved.
I thought it was very sensitive and beautiful, and definitely worth seeing for people who, especially people who don't like violence. There's very little violence in it for a change. Of course, there's some because it's a Western, but not much. And then I know you are binge watching a show, right?
Yes, I am totally addicted to this French show called The Bureau. The Bureau is a CIA type unit in France, and it's really as good as the mind games in Breaking Bad. Each of the characters has personal faults or insecurities or neuroses, and those play out at the same time as they're deciding things that can cost people their lives. And there are 5 seasons, 10 episodes a season. I am now just about to finish the 3rd season. I only started watching about 10 days ago. I can never watch just one episode. Most nights I end up watching 3. It is incredibly well done. It's really good. It's available on Sundance now.
So I'm watching, I watched a documentary series on HBO Max about the whole controversy of Woody Allen and whether or not he molested his 7-year-old daughter at the time, Dylan Farrow, who is now 35, married with a child. So that was interesting. And it's a documentary by Amy Ziering, who is known for taking up women's causes. And what's fascinating is how our eyes have changed, how we have changed since 1992 when this happened. And the whole Me Too movement and believing victims and giving this child credibility. They said she was brainwashed. They said that her mother fed her this information. But it doesn't seem to be the case. She was consistent from the very beginning. But it's very sensitively done and very interesting. And so I watched that because I'm always interested in these documentaries that investigate women's issues, I have to say.
Let me ask you 2 questions. Before we went on, I was asking you what you saw as the difference between the Jewish prescription against gossip, Lashon Hara, and these kind of what may seem like tabloid or sensational exposés.
Well, what was interesting is that it seemed to be first of all, they did show Woody Allen protesting and people supporting him, and he never has admitted to anything. But the proof that they showed was not from people speaking. Mia Farrow had taped her daughter, and they played the tapes. And Woody Allen had accused her of coaching her, but there's no coaching at all. And the prosecutor who investigated it did feel there was probable cause, but then Dylan was so traumatized, he decided not to prosecute. And it's from his point of view because he didn't think she could handle it. And now as a 35-year-old woman, she says, I wish I had my chance to tell, but they felt she probably wasn't up to it at that time. And Mia Farrow comes out as very frightened of Woody Allen and not vindictive, and there's taped conversations between them. But she said, I'm afraid of him. He's so powerful. And so it just totally turned the story around for me. And I didn't feel it was just gossip at all.
And do you feel that you would be able to watch any of his movies again?
I'm not sure, to be honest. They also talked about how the theme of an older and quite old man and young girls is dominant through all his films, and even his unpublished screenplays. They showed how over and over it was the same thing. A man in his 40s or 50s, a girl who was 18 or 20, over and over again.
Yeah, I
stepdaughter.
Right. I can't watch Manhattan anymore.
Oh, no, it's horrible.
Too creepy. But the other night, this was a couple of months ago, before the documentary, Broadway Danny Rose was on.
Yeah.
And that, where he's playing a character, that I could still watch and enjoy.
He has wonderful. A lot of his films are fantastic. So it's a hard decision.
Yeah. No. It's sometimes we know too much. So I have two books I want to talk about that I'm actually reviewing for the Los Angeles Review of Books. One is called Yeshiva Days by Jonathan Boyerin, and he wrote a book about a year spent attending a study house on the Lower East Side. And if you've ever wondered beyond Shtisel or the New Black, what goes on in a kollel, this gives you a great sense of it. I would say that he is not critical, but very much writing, showing what the experience and what people get out of it. It's a sympathetic and quite interesting portrait of that world. And
just to clarify, a kollel is an Orthodox study house, basically.
Yes.
People know it. Yeah.
And this one is particularly distinctive because they continue the Lithuanian tradition, which used to be very anti-Hasidic, but now is sort of just more tolerant and accepts a wider range of students and a wider definition of what is Orthodox or what is kosher. The other book is a book called Mazel Tov, My Extraordinary Friendship with an Orthodox Jewish Family, by Js Margot, which is a non-Jewish Belgian woman's account of her 30-year friendship with this family, for whom she began as the academic tutor to the children and developed a close bond with them. It's written very much in the sort of like outsider looking in, at first having a lot of objections. And as she comes to know them as people, she explains to us, the reader, and to herself, many of the reasons. And of course, as they become multidimensional human beings, they no longer represent sort of a block of thinking. And it's well done. She uses the criticism as a way to make you eventually not be critical.
Sounds interesting. There's a book that I just came across because the Stryker Center is going to be having the author in April, and I'll remind everyone, I already pre-ordered this book called The Light of Days, The Untold Story of Women Resistance Fighters in Hitler's Ghettos. I just remembered this. Steven Spielberg has already optioned this to turn it into a movie, and it looked like a fantastic book, and I've pre-ordered it, so I'll be able to give you more information after I read it. And now we're turning to our Passover section, and I'm going to start with you, Tom. You have a Haggadah you want to recommend.
Right. CCAR, which is the Central Conference of American Rabbis, has just released a new Passover Haggadah called MishkanHaSeder. The reason why I know about it is because it contains graphics by the artist Tobi Kahan. And Tobi Kahan is a wonderful artist who does abstract or anthropomorphic work. He's also a very committed Jew, and his work itself a work of meditation and prayer and contemplation. This particular Haggadah includes a lot of well-chosen poetry, and it's a very beautiful book. The Passover Seder is a story that's the oldest continuously told story on earth, almost 6,000 years. So,
well, not 6,000 years, because didn't happen until 3,000 years ago. So
Okay.
3,000 years. 3,000
years.
Pretty good. I also want to recommend a Haggadah because a lot of times people say, I need a new Haggadah. What's a good Haggadah? And I have found that this one, called The Open Door, a Passover Haggadah, is very readable. It has some artwork, but it explains things. It has stories. It's very up to date. It doesn't call it the 4 sons, but the 4 children. It includes Miriam's cup as well as Elijah's cup. So I recommend that. And I just want to let people know all the Passover offerings we have from Wilshire Boulevard Temple, starting with on the 24th at 11 a.m., Rabbi David Eshel is doing a Passover workshop. If you want to just review the Haggadah, the customs, the ceremonies, or people who are new to Judaism. By the way, this year, we have a Choosing Judaism course here. We have over 50 new people who have become Jewish. And so they for sure might enjoy this workshop. Of course, Pesach is the first Seder is the 27th of March, Saturday night. And we offer, Cantor Gurney and I created a step-by-step Seder that you can have on Zoom. You can watch it and stop it. It really conducts the whole Seder and tells you stop now and eat this, eat the matzah, break the matzah. So you can use it as kind of a guide. The second night is going to be a family Seder from Rabbi Eshel. And then for the first time, we're having first morning Passover services, beautiful, shot from the sanctuary with Cantor Gurney, Cantor Peacock, our new Cantor, Kareth Spencer Shapiro, and Rabbi Nickerson. So if you'd like to see a Passover service. And
that's Sunday. That's Sunday at 10 a.m., right?
Right. And then the following Sunday will be Yisker. I think that's enough.
Yes.
And in my neighborhood,
yes, I've got to go back and watch the rest of the Bureau.
Yes. In my neighborhood, all the kosher stores are booming. Everybody's buying all kinds of kosher for Passover goodies. And since we won't see you before then, we're going to wish you a happy Passover.
Yes, but please be careful at your Seders. Be vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, wear masks. Sit apart. We're not through this yet. We all want to be together, but the only way we're going to be together is if we're healthy.
Exactly. Chag Sameach, happy Pesach, and we'll see you next time. Bye everyone.